How'd finals go?
Good.
Glad they're over.
Yeah, me too.
What was your hardest one, Sharon? You kind of operate at a different academic level than everyone else.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of people doing a lot of hard things in school. But I had a couple. One, it was the developmental language disorders. I kind of took some random classes this semester because I graduated, so I've finished up a lot of classes.
Exactly, that tells a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not like some molecular quantum.
No, that's Addie and Taylor, not me.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sharon, you've always been starting for a little bit. What's it like to hear Lime Springs, Iowa, when you get introduced?
Well, to be honest, I don't hear it too much when the crowd is loud or something like that. But it makes you a little proud because, I don't know, I have so many people back home that text me or Facebook post about me, and that just truly means so much. And I know that those people back there look forward to watching every game and are proud to see me here and doing what I'm doing. So.
You have 24 hours in Lime Springs. What are you doing?
Springs. Well, there's a bar that's changed ownership probably every year for the past couple of years, but that's a good place. I don't know what it is right now. Yeah. I don't know what else. Not much. There's not much there.
No.
You grew up on a farm though, right?
Yes.
Okay, so was that crops, livestock, what?
Yes. He hasn't done it recently, but for the longest time, my dad did beef cattle, and we did corn and soybeans. Yeah.
You know what goes, I'm sorry. Do you know what goes into the coach's decision to start you and sort of flip Hannah every so often? Have they discussed ever playing the two of you together?
We have a lot of good guards, so, not taking up their spot. All of them are doing amazing, so let them do their work. But I don't know, it's their decision with who to start, and I think a lot of it goes into, who their five is or who they have playing their center position. Hannah's obviously a little better at defense than I am, so that probably goes into it quite a bit, or just who they think can do more on offense, kind of a balancing that.
You guys.
We'll get to you eventually. But Sharon, I know over the last year, I know that this has been a journey for you coming back from your injury. But even the last few months, coming into the start of the season, even I don't know if a lot of people expected you to be the starting post player for this team. But just tell me about these last couple of months, being able to be somebody who's stepped into the spotlight, be on the receiving end of a lot of Caitlin Clark passes, and this role that you've occupied now this season.
Yeah, it means a lot. It's felt good, and I think everybody would say that if they're having playing time, but it does feel good, and it has been a long process. Just looking at basketball in my life, that's been a journey for sure. I'm coming here and getting hurt my second year, and then kind of just battling last year, not only because of an injury, but just kind of struggling through that. But it feels good to be on the other side of it, and I know it's definitely not like I've secured this. We have two other really good post players that aren't getting many minutes right now, and they do a lot every single day to push us. So it's definitely not secured, and we have a lot of competition going on every day in practice. But it does feel good, and yeah.
What do you think's the difference in your game from, say, the summer to now when the coaches have so much confidence in you?
Yeah, I think a lot of that was on the mental end for me, just kind of flipping the switch and, playing with a little bit more freedom and more confidence. So that was for sure the biggest change for me from summer to fall.
So, you're somebody who's emerged too as kind of a fan favorite, just with your toughness, your grit out there too. Is that the way you've always played, and where'd you kind of learn that style of play?
I think that is how I've always played. I grew up with an older brother. My dad was my coach my whole life, and so I always played against the guys, and I think my dad just really instilled that in me. And my brother was definitely not easy or soft on me. We would always go at each other, so I think that's helped a lot, and that has shaped some part of my game, like the toughness.
Is it kind of a Chicago tough kind of thing?
That's what people say. I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but.
Question for both of you guys. We're kind of, not necessarily at the halfway point in terms of games, but tomorrow's the last non-conference game. You guys only have one loss right now. Where do you guys think, as a team, you guys are at in terms of the way you guys have played to this point?
Yeah, I think we're definitely hitting a good stride right now before the Big Ten season starts. I think coming off of last year, it was really important for us to learn how to mesh together and our chemistry to grow throughout these couple of early games. I think we've done a really good job with that, so I'm excited for Big Ten play too, and obviously tomorrow's game. But
If there's one spot this team really needs to take another step in, what would it be at this point? What is there something that you can take to another level as a team right now?
I think we're always pushing rebounding better. And I think we've made a lot of growth with our offense so far, but I think we can still get more cohesiveness and flow with our offense too.
Is that a function of just having lost, McKenna and Monica, and they were there for so long that it just takes a little while to know where everybody's going?
Yep. I think for sure. I think it just takes time to get everybody else in the flow, and the 3 starters from past years that are still here, they've worked together, but they haven't necessarily worked with the other 2 that are on the court. And so we have a lot of different lineups on the court, and getting those to work together takes time.
Along those lines, Sharon, what's been the biggest adjustment for you playing with Caitlin? From a basketball standpoint.
Right. I think the speed that she plays at and her eyesight for sure, like just the way that she weaves passes in there when you don't even, like Coach Jay says, she'll find you when you don't even know you're open. So it's being ready for that at all times.
Has she ever thrown you a pass where, as she's throwing it to you, you're like, why are you doing this? And then all of a sudden it's just there.
Yeah, yeah, plenty of times, not in games, but in practices. Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
I think we're all knowing who we are here. And I hope you knew that it wasn't Lisa Bailey.
It was changed, yes.
Okay, good, good. That's the worst, is when you show up and people are like, wait, we didn't pay for the understudy ticket. Anyway, I just, the finals week is always nice when that's over. And I thought our team really had a pretty nice showing down or over in Des Moines. That was a fun event. I can't tell you how many Hawkeye fans I ran into that were just so happy that it was there. And I hadn't really thought about that part of it, of just a lot of people were putting their family events, their Christmases around it. So I was very happy that for the men and women, it went well. So that was kudos to our marketing, I think, for thinking outside the box there. But I thought we played pretty well. Obviously, it was an opponent we should have done well against and needed to do well against. And I think for the most part, we really did, especially in that second half. Now the trick, and I think the men's side of the conference has shown us how nervous these games are right before Christmas. I mean, boy, Indiana, would they come back and win by 1 or something like that? So any coach will tell you that these games, when everybody is, excited about going home and thinking about, the Christmas list or whatever, if they celebrate. So we have a team, though, I think is locked in. I think I've loved our practices ever since getting back from Cleveland State. I feel like there's a lightness. I feel like there's another step forward in becoming, I think, who we're going to become. I think this non-conference has been a lot of just a lot of experiences that have come together to, we had a little bit of an injury for Hannah, took her out of the lineup a little bit. She's healthy, getting her back, trying to figure out who's going to be that 4, or who we can use at the 3, at the 2. So I'm really excited with how it's gelling. And now we have a team in Loyola who came off a big win. They won on a buzzer beater, have a long-range shooter that can hit it. They don't have as much size. They've shown a lot on film that they front, which we haven't seen a lot of fronting. So they're going to be, they want to go home with a major upset. I think if this non-conference has shown anything, is you definitely get everybody's best shot. But I think we've had a great time of prep. We've had a great focus, and hopefully we'll have one more here. So that's my opening, folks. Any particular questions?
Will Hannah start tomorrow?
At this point, we're still in flux, but I think that could be a strong possibility. Or we're just still seeing, how we want to shape that up.
How do you weigh who those factors in who starts. And would you like to get Hannah more than 17 minutes?
Yeah, I think with her being, coming back off the injury, some of it was limited a little bit when we were bringing her in. Some of it, she had, just basketball's funny like that, even though you're really in good shape, but if you sit out for a while, man, a couple of trips down the floor, you're sucking wind pretty intensely, even an athlete like Hannah. So part of that, limiting, part of it not coming immediately, putting, 30 minutes on that, recovery and healing. And then the team we played, it didn't, we were able to rest and we didn't need to play all those minutes. So a lot of things came into that. And then how do we make those decisions? Or, we track a lot of things in practice and we stat a lot of things. And, sometimes it's, really, really clear, this person is just killing it and it's a Caitlin Clark-like, or it's a, Megan Gustafson, when they start, they're starting for their careers, right? A lot of times, though, there's just, when you have a really healthy, good, balanced team, it's so close. It's really close, and that's when you have to get, everybody understanding that when my number's called, we're ready to go, whether I start, whether I come off the bench. And thankfully, we have a team, we've always had a pretty good culture that gets that. Doesn't mean they're not disappointed if they, you can't start them all, but they understand it and they keep pushing, in practice. So that post group is, they're competitive and they're pushing, and it's been really, it's been a good battle.
Do you have kids, or have you had kids that are just better coming off the bench?
Yeah, there are. That's a great question. And I think that's what we've been trying to figure out too, is, who's more productive and more efficient maybe when they're just coming off and they can, get a sense for that, get a sense for the flow of the game and don't feel that pressure. And it's usually the interesting thing is very few people say that, They don't I think I'm better off the bench. I'd like to defer. Everybody wants that because that's what society always celebrates, right? That's what you got to be. You got to be the corner suite. You got to be the one. And I think the best teams can really understand that role. And I think that there are some kids that are better off the bench, but most of them will probably argue that I'd rather start,
You're sitting here with just one more non-conference game and then a break before Big Ten play. What areas do you feel like you guys are doing really well in, and then maybe areas that you feel like need to be improved before Big Ten play?
That's a great question. I think overall, our defense has been pretty solid. Now, we haven't gone against, the UCLA's, right? Or, but we, facing some good, K-State was good. Virginia Tech had a lot of, great skill players, and we're getting everybody's best shot. I think usually overall the defense is pretty good, but then there might be one area, like we've let one person get hot. We haven't really gone over the ball screens as much as we wanted to, or our showing was a little flat or flooding or whatever. But I think overall, the mindset to that, I think we've liked that. I think our offense is, sometimes it can flow a little bit herky-jerky. Other times it's really moving and grooving. So I think that continues to be a work in progress. But again, I think it's, as we've been going, a lot of times you're trying to see different combos out there. But I really like the progression, when I say our staff does. I think we saw some really good moments of flowing in that Cleveland State game. So I think, I just think we'll want a little bit more consistency of that offense, of, not going a few minutes where it just is one pass and we're forcing something. But typically, our teams continue to get a little bit better. If you do it right, you're right when you need it most, you're hitting it. So I'm hopeful that's, we're going to hit this Big Ten season, and then we're going to get test after test after test that'll season us, and hopefully we can win as we're seasoned, and then really be flowing again, when you hit that middle of February.
I'm sure you guys knew that you have a little bit better production out of Sharon this year than when she was injured last year, of course. But I think a lot of fans are a little surprised to see, 9 points, 5 rebounds, what she's averaging right now. I mean, did you guys expect at the start of the year this kind of production out of her? Has she surprised you guys with how much she's done this year on the court?
I think not surprised. I think Sharon was on track before that injury. I call Sharon a old school Iowa post player from the 6-on-6 days. She's going to do a job. She's going to get there. And if you deliver it to her where she can, just do a simple boom, boom move, she's very effective. Unfortunately, the injury kind of set back. And then, of course, we had Monica rising. Sharon has an unbelievable work ethic. So I'm not surprised. I think we have really a group of 4 posts that do different things really well. And that's really great. It's really challenging because sometimes I want that and I want this and I want that thing all in one at this particular 3 or 4 minutes. And that's the thing, you just never have enough minutes, right, to get everybody in that's working hard, that deserves the minutes. So, that's when you're trying to make those right decisions. But going back to Sharon, she has just, she works really hard. She's a really strong defender. Like, we don't always talk about the defense, right, because we love to score points and we like to be efficient. But Sharon's very strong in there. And a lot of times, we're going to look a little different. Obviously, we are already than we did last year. But the emphasis isn't so much on the scoring of the post. We just want to do our jobs when we get it. And Sharon really understands that. And defensively, she just is pretty solid. She's able to push him out, and then she just, can grab those boards. So I'm excited, not surprised for her, because she's had a unique path, right? She's had a lot of strife in high school with losing her mother and just kept, battling that next day and that freshman year. And then to have these moments is really fun for a kid that's working so hard. So I think her defense has always given her a little bit of the edge, just because I like that physicality. And I think that showed in the Iowa State game after the first half. Their post is a really good post, great kid, is Sharon kind of settled too. And then when she settled, and then we didn't let up quite as many points. I think they only let up 3 in that second half. So I like that about Sharon. And I think she's going to be key, whether, who comes off the bench or who starts. I think that component's going to be really good.
You mentioned the defense. The one area that's been really good this year is the rebounding, both offensively and defensively. And in the past, rebounding has kind of been that thing that people have pointed out as something that needed to improve. Just talk about where that is right now.
Well, I think that's a big key, and I think that could be where we've got a little bit better. Anytime Hannah's on the floor, you got a shot to get the board. Doesn't matter where she is on the floor or if it's offense or defense. Some kids just have a knack for it. She's got a nose for it. She's got a feel for it. And then she's got the body for it. So she just helps you automatically get a little bit more efficiency with that. And then, again, Sharon's size and her strength, sometimes she just is able to use that to let the ball, really carry them off. She's not going to sky up and get it, but she's taking up that space. And we've tried to make it more of an emphasis, but it's, that's the key. Lisa, that's, ever since I played for Lisa, if there's one thing, it's rebounding. Hasn't always shown. It's also offense, in case we haven't noticed. But you get more possessions with the rebounding, right? If you out-rebound them both ways, it gives you a better shot to win. So I think that, and I think Sydney Alforter, when she's on the floor, we all love that kid. She just has a nose for it too. So you got a couple different kids playing a few more minutes now that really, that's their thing. So when that's their thing, then all of a sudden it becomes a thing, and then everybody wants to get it. So that's what we're hoping is going to continue to happen starting against Loyola, because, if we're outsize them in the post position, especially if Sharon or Addie's in there, and then carrying, going into the Big Ten season, that's going to be huge.
You talked about Sid a little bit. Is that just kind of a Chicago tough attitude kind of thing with her?
I think. I love when we recruited her, and she just has that knack, and she's one of those kids in high school. She could bring it down is the point. She could post up, and she has that little stretch finish. But yeah, I think it is a Chicago toughness. She just just was always fun to watch because she's not going to back down. You know, she's one of those kids that, you know, they just do their job, like Kate Martin. You know, it's fun when they get a pat on the back, and of course everybody's, you know, wants to be the one. But those guys, the joy in it, it's just, I'm in the trenches, I'm gonna do what we do, and I'm just gonna get a joy out of helping you, you know, get that pass. I'm gonna get joy out of getting that rebound and diving and throwing it. And that's kind of rare to get kids with that type of motor that can really excel. And I think Sid would be very proud to say it's Chicago toughness.
Played different positions, but also from Chicago. Doyle was that way too, kind of that.
Yeah,
gritty.
definitely. Gritty. both of them, I think that's really, both of them have that. And that's just, you know, you can't coach that. You know, you can't, like when you go recruit, like you think you got it, right? And that's what you love about them. But when you get them here, when you really see it day in and day out, when it's everything you think it is and more, that's when you celebrate. And that's what Doyle was like, and that's what Sid's like. And, you know, that's what, you know, a lot of those hard-nosed kids, if you see it and you hope it, but then when you get them here, when they're exponentially, that's what's really fun. And it's just, you know, it's like, you know, height, right? Those are things you can't, no matter how good you are as a coach, that if they have that innately, you can really fan the flames, and that's what's fun about a kid like Sid.
You and Sharon both have said that kind of the difference in her from summer to now is that she's got confidence. How did she develop that confidence, being kind of the backup kid this summer?
You know, Sharon's a big teddy bear. I mean, she just is. I love that kid. I mean, I love them all, but Sharon, that's been the biggest thing. Because, you know, she's just this nice, and she's just lovely. I mean, she just wants everything to go well on the court, and I think you see that. Like, when something good happens, she has this innocent smile. You know, like if she surprises herself, sometimes I'm like, don't look surprised when you make that. You know, she'll kind of, she's like, whoa, that went, you know, that worked. And there's an innocence to that. With that, Sharon just doesn't want to disappoint anybody on the floor. So there's some kids, when you miss a shot, they're just mad because they missed a shot. She is frustrated that she missed the shot, but it's more so like she let Kate down, and she let Caitlin down, and so that with the confidence. So we've worked a lot about, like, hey, you know what, if you miss that, you know, we need you to keep going. Just like if Kate misses a drive and a putback, I mean, we don't want her to stop, right? You know, Caitlin, you know, she misses 2 or 3, we're not really pulling her back. And just getting her, I think, to think on that plane, because that's where she is now, right? We're not just you're not just coming in at the end of the game and like, oh, okay, I missed that, we're up or down. It's like, no, you're the one. And I think she started to understand that she's the one.
Would you call her a pleaser?
I think a little bit, in a good way, not in the negative way, but I think she just wants to help it move forward, and she's really selfless. And that's a great quality on a team, but it can be hard when it can play with your confidence. But I think when she started to think that, hey, I'm the one, that's really helped her confidence. But when you're new at it, you know, it's fragile. And so we just got to keep a watchful eye on it. But I think she's really grown into that. And I think, you know, sometimes those bigs, I mean, they're just big shoes. You know, I think collectively, when I say everybody, is like, if they miss one, you can just hear a collective sigh. It's like, oh, right? Because Megan hardly missed sometimes. Monica hardly missed sometimes. But they did, right? But it's like I've tried not to, you know, I just want them to be who they are. And I think we've gotten through that, you know, after the summer and the early fall is, you know, we're going to miss, and don't let it bother you. If people I don't care if it's a point blank layup you should have made, you're going to make the next 9. You know, it's just, you can't let that bother you. And I think sometimes there's I think, you know, they didn't see their upperclassmen miss much, so they don't want to let people down. I'm like, listen, you're doing great. And I think if they just know they're doing great, then I think they'll continue to be, you know, producing and enjoying it. That's the main thing. You want to enjoy the role that you get to play. And if they're playing under pressure or feel like they're going to disappoint people, then A, they're not having fun, and then they can't be productive. So I think that's the confidence piece we just keep working on, is just be you, right? And just, it's always the next play. And, we're in a great place. We do have high expectations. No one has them higher than I do or they do. But you can't let everybody else's opinions, affect you.
How's Gabby Marshall handling this? I mean, she had a slump last season too and got herself out of it.
Yeah.
But how's she handling this?
The same. I think, no one is more tight or, upset or bummed about it than Gabby, right? But she just shoots it. I mean, we have practices where that kid is like fire, not missing, just like, 70%, right? And so just the kind of the same mindset of the mental preparation, and we all know that there will be a breakthrough. And I think it's also helpful to know there's other people that can take some of that pressure off. She's the key defender, the key, experience. She's been there. So that won't ever, be traded, if you will. But she's doing well, frustrated, but not in a way that's taking her out of it. We're really proud of her, and she's always in that gym getting shots up. And just we need to put a couple games together. And once I think we do that, and that's the beauty of it, right? What are we, 11-1? And she hasn't really been consistently Gabby Marshall yet, which we've seen. And I just really believe that when we need it most, Gabby will be there. And I think that's how our whole staff feels. It's just a matter of time. And I think that's how she's taking it. Frustrated, but not in a way that's paralyzing her at all. That's what good shooters do, and that's what I know what she'll continue to do.
Just the fact that she snapped out of it last year, I mean,
Yeah, I think
give you a little more comfort, give her a little more
I
comfort.
definitely think so. For us, in a game, you're like, dang it, but you 1 for 4 or whatever, 0 for or whatever. We don't even, it's not a thing for us because we're so confident in that. I think, yes, I agree. Everybody looks like the box score and you want her to hit that big one, when we swing it with that one more pass. But there's just so much confidence in her and what we see every day in practice. And she gives us so much in so many ways that it's not anything that we're fixated on. Only because we feel badly, only because you love all your kids, right? But it's not anything that I don't think won't shape up and I really believe that when we need it most, it will be there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jan.
Thank you guys, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that.